Hi, good afternoon, everyone. If you can hear me, just kindly type in the chat box. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. If you can hear me, type in the chat. Okay, thank you, Virendra. Thank you, Hemant. Welcome. I'll just start. Just give me a second. Good afternoon. Yes. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. If you can hear me, just kindly type in the chat box. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. If you can hear me, type in the chat. Okay, thank you, Virendra. Okay, sorry, I just had an echo happening here on YouTube, so I'll just start my video. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, we'll start in exactly 30 seconds. Okay. Wow. Okay, hang on. Okay, hi, everyone, and good afternoon. And how many of you could have been doing something else? Let's say it's a festive season, you could have gone out, you could have had a great time with somebody, but instead you've chosen to be here. And I'd really like to thank you. No audio? Gentlemen, can anyone hear? If you can, I think my mic seems to be working. Srinivas, you have no audio. You'll have to check your system. I think you have an issue. So use a headphone or use your cell phone. You can watch this on your cell phone too. Yeah, I think Srinivas, last time also you had some issues. If you're going to have issues with your mic, with your sound, then just drop off the meeting. Send me an email and I'll send you a recording. Okay. So just if you can't hear anything, there is you can read the subtitles below. Okay. So if you can't hear, just below the screen, you'll see the subtitles coming in. Okay. So I've tried my best to make this convenient. Okay. So without much ado, let me just share my slides. So dynamic vitality, welcome to your life. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do for you today, my name is Prem Alvarez and I will be your presenter for today. This is going to be roughly with just about an hour. Okay. And what I'd like you to do is type in the chat box, tell me where you're from. Which city? Just type in which city in the chat box. So I know you guys are, you're able to connect and you're able to hear me. Hemant, Bangalore, fantastic. I'm from Bangalore too. A good thing that you're here in the webinar because we might have rain. So you can enjoy the webinar while the rain takes its toll out and it goes away. Thanks, Venkat. Okay, so what you're going to get today, we'll discuss that. You're going to learn the 3 reasons why you might be losing your youth. Okay, and how many of you want to improve your vitality? How many of you want to stop, getting your youth robbed from you? Right? I think everyone does, right? Yeah, if you are interested, then you're going to find out the 3 big reasons. Okay, so you're going to learn the 3 secrets why you're losing your vitality. Number 1, know your body composition because you may be killing yourself. Strange, right? Okay. Find out what are the signs that your youth and your health is slipping away. Okay. And you know that you're not supposed to treat the symptoms. All you're seeing is symptoms, but they are not the real cause. So we'll find out about that. Okay. And the third one is I call the autopilot to getting old soon. And that's to break the insulin trap. Okay. So we'll get into this. Now stay on. At the end of this webinar, I'm going to give you a free gift worth 5,000 at least. Okay. It's a very, very nice little system for you. You just have to enter a few details and it'll kind of tell you where you stand, what you should look like, etc. Okay. So uh, you can do this, you can collect this after the webinar and you can fill in the details. It's quite simple. You just have to measure your height and your weight and just some measurements and you're done. Okay. And you have to enter your age, of course. Okay. So ground rules, very simple. Definitely use the chat box to ask any questions at any point of time. Okay. Take notes, because sometimes there might be a concept that you like, you want to remember it, so write it down. You can write it in your notepad, you can write it on a piece of paper, but once you write it down, it helps you to remember. Okay. Don't go back and look in it. It'll never happen, because we all tend to write a lot of notes and we never read them again. Okay, but just take it so that it helps you, and participate. Okay, if you participate, we can make this a kind of a very energetic session, and any question that you might ask is beneficial not only to you, it's beneficial to me, and it's beneficial to everyone, because they may also have the same question, right? Okay. So starting with point number 1, health equal to wealth. How many of you agree? Agreed? If you have perfect health, then you'll definitely have a lot of wealth. Because if you're absolutely sick, there is no way you can work, or there's no way you can run your business. If you're a billionaire, then you may not need to do it, but then you still need to live an active life. So what happened? Here's an example what happened to the world. We saw what happened with COVID. Nearly 61 crore people died. Another 51 succumbed to the disease. Okay. And they fell ill. But not only that, about $2.5 trillion worth of money was lost in salaries, business transactions, etc. So it was a huge loss. And the world is still recovering from this. Okay. And not only that, maybe 10 or 15% of the people lost their jobs because, they were too frail after that. Now, the question is, are you ready for another one? We're not. The world is not ready. So the world is just woken up and saying, hey, we've got to start looking after ourselves before it gets too late. Okay. We've seen a lot of things happening out there. You've seen, so there's the monkeypox virus has come out, but of course it's not spread so badly, but that's still looming. We've got some tomato virus that opened up in Kerala. So we don't know. Every day there's something new. In fact, in Siberia, they unearthed some really deadly bacteria that's been isolated. But if that had to break out, so you don't know what's going to happen. So it's best to be ready. Okay. And how do you get ready? Okay. But before that, don't become a statistic. 1 out of 12 people have type 2 diabetes. Okay. And this is not really a hereditary problem. This is not passed down. This is something that we create for ourselves. Okay. Most of the time, you might be susceptible, but that will give you like a 5 or 6% chance of getting it, more than the others, but not really that much more. Okay. So if everyone follows the same kind of habits, you know what? Everyone in the world will get type 2 diabetes, almost everyone. Okay. So don't become a statistic. India has now become the number 1. We are the leaders now. We have the highest population of type 2 diabetes in the world. Now, that couldn't have happened because of something. Why did it happen 200 years ago? Why is it happening now? Okay. So it's a good question you should ask yourself. Okay. Hypertension, I think a lot of people have this. Okay. Probably 8% of our population is suffering from hypertension. And if you thought COVID was the biggest killer, sorry. Cardiovascular diseases have knocked off more than 60% of our people. Okay. And all these things come because we've just unknowingly just got ourselves a little older. Okay. And if you think that this is something small, just this alone, non-communicable diseases, NCDs, is a $29 billion industry. So what does that mean? It means the pharmas and the hospitals are not going to really go out of their way to prevent this from happening, because what's happening is business. If somebody wants to prevent it, let the individual prevent it, let the government prevent it, let the policy prevent it, whatever, but they're not going to do it. Step forward and do something about it. Okay. So before I go forward, with your permission, Can I tell you a little bit about myself, my story? How did I get here? What's this whole thing and why am I here? Would you like to hear? If you'd like to hear about it, just say yes. You will have to give me permission. Anyone can say yes. Okay, if you guys, okay, thank you, Virendra. Srini, very good, very good. Thank you. Okay, let me see how many people have. Okay, we've got 9 people out here. Not bad. Okay, so I'll just stop the share. Okay, so what had happened was it was the day November 11th to 2011. Okay, 11. Okay, so I've been in the software industry. Actually, I'm a software professional, and I've been in the industry maybe 28, or I don't know, I stopped counting, many years. Okay, traveled to a lot of countries, lived in a suitcase, did that, great adventure. But on this particular day, when I stood up from my seat, I had this immense pain in my back and my buttocks and my legs. Pain. And like normal, like anyone will say, "Yeah, just a cramp, made some excuse." The next day, the same thing happened. And this continued every day. The next day became the next week. The next week became the next week. And by the 5th week, I used to sit for only 5 minutes. And when I used to stand up, huge pain. And it was getting worse. Like somebody had hit a hockey stick on me. And I said, okay, this is not a cramp. This is not something small. This is pretty serious. So, okay, let's go to the doctor. Let's go to the hospital, see what's happening. So I went to the doctor and he told me, take a couple of tests and, do your blood profile, etc., and come back. So I took around half day, came back to the doctor and he looked at it. And I asked the doctor, yeah, so what's the problem? He says, 1 minute, give me some time. And he sat for a few minutes and he just started writing. And I looked at him and I said, doctor, that's a prescription, 1 minute. And he gave me such a long prescription. It was probably taller than me. And there were so many medicines in that, some I couldn't pronounce, some statins and some God knows what was there, a whole lot of, and I couldn't understand the writing. Sorry if anyone are doctors here, they're not known for having the most fantastic handwriting. And I looked at it and I said, okay, doctor, uh, how long do I have to take this medicine? When will I get better? And so he said, 50% of this medicine you have to take for the rest of your life. I was a little shocked. But I said, why, doctor? He says, 180 level cholesterol is bad. So I didn't know. I mean, 180, what's 180? Okay, yeah, it's bad. Your level is 500. Now that doesn't take a genius to know that 500 is anyway almost 3 times more than the bad limit. So I asked the doctor, I said, fine, I'll take this medicine. But if I must be doing something wrong. He said, no, you take it or leave it. You have to take this medicine, otherwise no chance. But I said, why did this happen to me? He said, heredity. Okay, now when I hear that word heredity, it means that genetically from my great 200 years ago or 500 years ago, those genes have come down and I've got it, and therefore I'm susceptible to it. And I kind of was a little shocked and I said, doctor, but how do you say that? No, it's this common. Everyone gets it like this. But I didn't want to believe it. You know why? Because my grandfather lived till 104 and he was active till the last minute he was alive. Means he never needed any help, nothing. He was an independent person till the age of 104. My other grandfather lived till 98, who also was, and none of them had these issues. My parents were in the late 70s. They never had any of these problems. So I was wondering how this hereditary factor came in. So I kind of said, no, I think this guy's just pushing stuff on me. I just left. Then I tried everything. I tried gymming, I tried walking, I tried this one, I tried everything. And weeks had gone by and nothing changed. I even started eating less food, nothing changed. I started becoming bigger. And I was somewhere around 89 kilos, and my waist had gone up to some crazy 38 or 39. And it was so awkward for me. My tummy used to stick out. I couldn't tie my shoelaces properly. I had to do sideways. because it was all in the way. I couldn't lift my legs up to tie my shoelaces. So this was really ridiculous. And trying all of these stunts after a few weeks, nothing was getting better. And finally, there I was sitting in a coffee shop wondering, what do I tell my family? Just think about it. They're all going to panic. I'm going to tell them, see, I've got so many medicines that I have to take for the rest of my life. Gone. There'll be panic. They'll be monitoring me, saying, oh, you have this. Did you take? They'll be calling me up. Did you take a medicine? This one. Oh, you can't eat this. You should eat that. You should do this. Oh, you need to do that. And my entire, whatever free time, social life also would have got jacked. And forget about that. If the medicine doesn't work, I've done all this and the medicine doesn't work, then what the hell? I'm on a time bomb. What would you do? If something like this happened to you, you'd have to tell them, right? And that scared the hell out of me. And I said, gosh, where am I? Am I dying? Is my last few days of my life? What the hell is going on? And to my luck, an absolute stranger walked up to me. And he said, son, what's the problem? And I told him the whole story. He said, see, I'm in India for 3 weeks and I meet people who have similar problems. So you can just come over and understand what's happening. The bodies are very different. I mean, it's something that we think we know about, but we don't. Just come over. I said, okay, I'd rather than take the medicine, let me see what this guy has to say. And I sat with him for 3 weeks. And I thought my problem was bad. There were people coming in and saying, I need a bypass next week. Or in 3 weeks, I need to do a knee replacement surgery. And a whole plethora of problems. Mine looked like it was very tiny. And then I kind of understood what was going on, their patterns and how people, all different kinds of people. Yes. And there were people who had similar problems to me. And then it all went on. Okay. But I definitely learned a lot. Okay. I learned what a wonderful mechanism the body is. And if you put something wrong into it, you'll get the wrong output. If you put the right input, you'll get wonders, miracles. So let me just go back and share my screen. Okay. Sorry about that. So I did learn something. And what I discovered, the number one issue is I know that. The 3 most dangerous words in your life. Ever remember that? Right? Thanks, Venkat. 3 words. I know that. When you say I know that, you have closed your mind to anything new. If you see a little bit something, there might be something better about it, we'll just shut it down, because that's how we are as human nature. And I thought I knew that because I had all this doctor, Google doc. I thought I was living a very proper life because hey, I've read everything. I'm this great, huge VP in some software company. Who the hell can stop me? And you know what? Nobody knew the root cause. Everyone was going after this. My shoulders this way, my tummy is bigger. Nobody knew what was actually, nobody knows what's the real root cause. But when I discovered it, I made a plan for myself. And in the last 9 years, I've influenced more than 100 people. Okay, so I was still working. So I used to go to companies and do this workshop. Okay, and and a lot of people their lives have changed. So I've been trained. The person that trained me was actually Jack Wong, who is a triple graduate, and he's a PhD from Johns Hopkins. He really changed my life. And I got so much of knowledge from him. And I put that into practice. He says, you've got to figure it out, put it into practice, find a way to do it. And I did it. I'm also being mentored by Maya Adam, who is the chief nutritionist in Stanford University. Okay. And more than anything else, I am the guinea pig. Okay. So whatever I'm going to talk about is something I do every day, is something I practice have been practicing for the last 11 years of my life. And in fact, I probably look younger than I did about 11 years ago. Okay. So therefore, it's my mission to move at least 1 lakh senior working professionals, business people, consultants into what I call the dynamic vitality model. And it's a step-by-step natural system. Okay. How natural is it? A lot of it is about food. Okay. So what were my results? Okay. So I was 89 kilos, 39 waist, and 500 cholesterol. And about 3.5, very close to 4 weeks, I dropped to 71.9, I didn't lose. It's not a question of losing weight. I went to my exact weight. My weight, I had to throw my pants out. My waist became 32, and I still have one or two trophies with me, some I parked inside. Uh, so, and of course, normal blood report. My cholesterol just vanished. Okay. So, how many of you would like to know what was the cause? I'm sure you'd like to know what was the cause for me, because it might be the cause for you too, right? So if you do, type I love Vita, ILV in the chat box, so that I know you guys are interested to know what are these causes. Fantastic. Padmini, Virendra. Okay. Superb. Okay. Thank you very much for contributing. Okay. So what I discovered was the three biggest issues people generally have. You might have them. Fatigue. After coming back from a day's work, you just don't have any energy to do anything else. Even watching the TV also, you might think, oh gosh, you may even not have the energy to eat food. You'll just be so drained out. Okay, this is one of the biggest ones. And some people have early ages, signs of aging, like getting, wrinkles and, sagging skin, just looking a bit older than you should. Okay. Big tummy is kind of common. Some people just say, oh, my tummy is too big, I'm feeling odd and I'm looking awkward, and girls are not going to like me and all that. So okay. So, and bad blood report. Okay. You have TGLs and cholesterol is high and a whole lot of things are gone wrong. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is, I'd like you to do an activity. How would you feel if you were, let's say, 25 years old? How would you feel? Just imagine right now, you run the clock back and you say, oh, I'm 25 years old. How would you feel? Some people say, I feel like Superman. Some people say, wow, I used to do so many things. Think about it. How do you feel? Great. Absolutely. Thank you, Padmini. So, feeling great, I'll tell you why you need to feel it. Anything that you've done, let's say a goal, let's say you've had a dream to buy a nice, really lovely car, buy a wonderful house, or, acquire or get a great job. What did you do? You would have dreamed about it. You would have said, oh, I can imagine myself driving that car. Oh, big Mercedes, everyone will look at me and they'll think I'm the Superman. So you get the point. The point is, if you feel, it becomes part of your dream. And that's the only way you can achieve anything. So whenever you can, just think about how you were when you were in those those younger years, and the energy you had. Because once you start to feel it, something starts to happen after that. Trust me, the world starts to change for you. I don't know, it's whether you call it quantum physics or science of the universe or whatever. But if you don't have that picture in your mind, you'll never achieve it. So don't discount yourself, because you were once 25. I don't think why it just gone vanished away, right? But how about now? How do you feel? You feel how many percent? 100% being when you were young. And now how do you feel? Anybody like to type chat box? 10%, 20%, 40%, give some number. When I was sitting in that coffee shop and wondering what to do next, I felt like 5%. Really, I couldn't do 95% of the things I used to do when I was 25. It was just so demoralizing. I felt like an 80-year-old man with maybe slightly younger looking face, but still absolutely energy was zero. So any good. Thank you. 80%. Okay. So anyway, this is an activity for yourself. So the problem is we get comfortable with ourselves. We get comfortable, we make excuses. You know why? Because we think our brain is somewhere around 18 to 25 years old. We still think that our bodies can do the same thing. We still think that no matter what I've done to myself, this is still going to go on. The world revolves around me. Hey, sorry, guys. That's not the way it works. The thing is, you've got to be conscious about what you're doing. Okay. And no blame game here. It's happened to everyone. It's definitely happened to me. So I can relate to anybody who has, the thing about getting comfortable. I got very comfortable. I made every single excuse because, going to the hospital. Oh, what if they tell me I have to do this? I do that. I do this. I take an operation. All these stories start coming in your mind. And you know what? Let me tell you this. I've never done this before, but I definitely tell you this word called fear. Fear only comes from an event that might or might not happen in the future. Fear is something that you anticipate is going to happen to you. It's not real. So we build this fear. It's something that we'll imagine is going to happen, but it's not yet happened. Okay, that's the thing. That's the definition of fear. And fear is actually, this is coming from a future that you created. And I did that. I started creating that, and I was like, avoid, don't know what's going to happen. I'll take medicine, this thing, and all whatever excuse I have. I'm scared of the hospital. So people only when they die, they go there, and all sorts of stories. Okay. So why do we get comfortable and not doing anything about it? Is this one big reason? It's one of the causes. Okay. So why am I here? I'll tell you, prevention is better than cure. Okay. If you actually, let something like this slide for the next few years, maybe 5, right now, nothing's going to happen then tomorrow or day after. Okay. Maybe 5 or 6 years later, things are going to get complicated. And then it's going to be a bit late, and you'll have to start going in for cures. And what are those cures? There could be surgery, there could be complicated medications, there could be a lot of stuff. Okay. And it's going to cost a ton of money and a ton of your time, because you have to keep going for checkups and who knows what's going to happen. Right. So for a minor amount of that you're going to really spend, it's better to prevent it. Right. Don't we want to be happy and feel younger and do things that we used to do when we were 25? Definitely. Now, a lot of the seniors I had in my company, you know what happened? Crazy. They worked like dogs, and finally, when they retired a few years later, stuck in the ICU. All their life savings gone down the drain. I'm telling you, if you get into an ICU, it's like, and it's a very intensive ICU, then wow. If you are stuck there for about a month or two, it's like buying an apartment. That much of money just goes. And then after that, your quality of life is different. Okay. Now, I definitely think that we can be the healthiest country in the world. Why? Indians are smart. They are very, very intellectual people. Okay. And I'm sure when you get the right information, you'll take the right steps. Do you agree? If you're aware and okay, this works. This is the formula. And it's worked for 10,000 people, work for me too. Yes. So we are smart. We're also hardworking. We don't give up so easily. Might be this one fuel price going up. Oh no, we can't get kothmeri coriander from the shop. It's become 100 rupees. No, we still don't give up. We'll find some alternate and do it. Correct? Right. So that's one thing. And we can grow something right from January till December. We have such a great country, so many resources. Throughout the year, we can. Now, very few countries can do that. They have to, they can grow something only 4-5 months. But in India, we can grow something or the other. Okay. So it's amazing. But unfortunately, when you guys, step out and you try to do something about this, there's just too much of information. Too many ads going out saying, hey, do this 5 days and you'll be, in fact, during COVID, there were so many scam artists talking about weight loss. Okay. Lots of them. I was just saying, these people, how do they, don't they have a moral obligation to at least give something that really works? Or give them the thing, say, this is exactly how it works. No, take the money and run away. Not even nothing, no class, no nothing. They give them something to eat and whatever, and it's over, gone, run away. It's really bad. I'm telling you, a lot of people start getting conned and they say, hey, this is all another piece of bullshit coming out here. Who the hell wants to try it? Right. So that's not the case with me. Okay. The reason being, I have a lot of people following me. I have a lot of students. I also do this for myself every day. This is not something I walk the talk. Okay. So I'm here to simplify it for everyone. There is not exactly a particular way to do it, but there's a very simple way to do it. Okay. And it's not complicated. And it's within a limited time. Okay. So that's really important. Somebody tells you it will take 2 years. No chance. No. And besides, what I'm giving you is not a weight loss program. Okay, if anyone thinks this is a weight loss program, this is not. This is about correcting your metabolism, taking your body back to where it was when it was younger. So after that, I'm left the doctor's place. I tried everything. I tried the gym. I got muscle injuries because my body was not strong enough to handle it. I tried to go overboard and it got worse. Somebody said, "Want to lose weight? Yeah. Don't eat." What happens if you're not going to eat? You'll die if you don't eat, right? So exactly what happened. I almost not really died, but I got so sick after that, and I had flu, and it took me a long time to recover. Then somebody said, "Oh, there are some, put this powder. It's one green color here, some funny color. Put it in the glass. Close your eyes, close your nose, drink, and drink it every day, 3 times a day." I said, after the first day only, I was throwing up. It's terrible, and it had no pleasant effect, and it was just some stupid concoction. Okay, anyway, I tried jogging. I started getting knee injuries. Okay, so that was even another problem. Somebody said, "Don't do any physical, only meditation." So sit down and count backwards. And I've got 10, 9, 8, 7. By the time 5, I'm fallen asleep. So meditation never worked for me. It was a good way to sleep though. But this mind thing about taking over your body, hey, there are a whole lot of humbug out there. I'm telling you, yes, your mind does help in a way, but you have to put something into your system, boss. Okay. And we're going to come to that part. Okay. And surgery, I don't want to do any surgery. Some actress died, recently trying to remove fat from her tummy, and it looked like a very simple operation, but she died because she had an allergic reaction to the anesthesia. So any surgery, no matter how small it is, there are certain risks that go with it, and I didn't want to take it because at that age, I didn't want that. So what do you guys want? You can see a nice list out there, right? Can you see it? Come on, guys. I think you know this. You can see they look younger. I want better skin. I don't want to fall sick. I need good immunity. Okay. I want to be the boss, and I want to show I'm the strongest and the most smart guy here. Be a role model, right? And a lot of things. I want more energy. I want better sleep. I don't want to have this burning sensation in my stomach. Nice, right? But aren't we all a little greedy? Can we have all of these? Is it possible? But how do you achieve this? Now, it's very simple. Anything that you try to learn or anything that you try to do that's new for yourself, you need the right information. You need the awareness, right? For example, why do you brush your teeth? Now, who informed you? Your parents would have informed you, saying, if you don't brush your teeth, they're going to fall off. And while your toothbrush and toothpaste may cost you not more than 100 rupees, the value of that toothbrush is worth lakhs. Understand what I'm saying? The value. So whenever we do anything in life, first think about the value, what it gives you, not how much you're spending, right? If you spend more than its value, then it's not worth it. But if you spend some amount of money and you get 10x value from it, it's really worthwhile, right? So you need to use a natural step-by-step human approach. Okay. You can't be doing this stand on 3 toes for 5 hours, then sit on your elbow it won't work. We are not monkeys. Okay. Human beings are people that socialize, want to bring peace and happiness to others. This is generally what human society is about. We're not going to jump around like monkeys and astronauts and whatever to get what we want, because this is not part of our nature. Our nature is to socialize and be happy. Do you know the only living creature on the planet that can laugh are human beings? There is no other being or creature on this planet that knows what humor is. Okay. So therefore, there is a function even for humor. Okay. So we must spend more time doing something that no other creature has. Okay. And of course, you want to reach a goal in a fixed amount of time. If somebody goes and asks you or tells you, okay, you want to become a millionaire? Yeah. You know how much time it's going to take? Tell me. 90 years. Now, if somebody tells you it's going to take 90 years to become a billionaire or a millionaire, what are you not going to do it, because you don't even know how to plan. We can't predict what's going to happen even within the next year. Even 1 year before COVID, do you think anyone knew this COVID is going to? You'll never know, right? So things have to be done within a finite amount of time. You can't take forever to get it because it may never happen, right? So I've seen a lot of these great programs out there, and I really have the guts to see that after a guy has spent some 60,000 rupees, this is a very big company, I won't want to mention names, spent 60,000 rupees and has lost 6 kilos after 13 months. And it's only a weight loss program, that too. I mean, really, people definitely, I don't know, it's the way people advertise. I'm sorry, that's how it is. Okay. So I have a path where you actually go through this whole thing and you start by being a silver member and you get all the knowledge and awareness, and then you become a gold member and you start to do it. You actually build a blueprint and you move out into it. And after people actually complete this, they either become affiliates or they become what I do. Okay, not many people have jumped into it because a lot of people are working and they say, I don't want to become a dynamic vitality master. But some do. Some are on the way of doing it. But anyway, this is my entire cycle, and I'm trying to bring in also another program called, this is just the body. I'm trying to bring in the mind and soul series. And I'm still working on that because a lot of it I'm the guinea pig. So if it doesn't work on me and doesn't work on a few people, it's not going to work. So let's get ready for, how many of you like secrets? If you like secrets, type S in the chat box. Come on. Guys are alive, awake? Okay, if you like secrets, type S in the chat box. Perfect. Thank you, Virendra. Okay, Virendra seems to be very alive. I like that. Come on, what happened to everyone? Please pick up Virendra's disease. It's called enthusiasm. Come on. This is something everybody doesn't want corona. We don't want flu. We don't want this, but we want enthusiasm. Pick it up. Come on, guys. Okay. So secret number 1. Now, if you look at this little diagram here, this is not a, what do you call that, chemistry class or a biology class. Okay. So if you look at this little diagram, I'm sure you would have seen it. You might know about it. You might have studied it, and you think these names are familiar. But what I'd like you to look down below is a yellow box, the yellow part, which says carbohydrate. Now, what are these carbohydrates? Bread, rice, chapati, whatever, potato. These are all carbohydrates, right? I think you're familiar. Now, my big question to you people is, when you go and see somebody's plate when they're eating food, at least 50% of your plate might be carbohydrates. But the body needs only 1. How come you've just loaded it up with 50? Wow. And do you know that 16% of your body is fat? Yes, the body needs fat. Okay, but only a limited amount of it. Okay, 16%. But then, I was in this position where I was avoiding oil, butter, this one. You know what? When you start depleting your body of fats, it also causes a problem because the organs need lining, your muscles need lubrication. There's a lot of hormones that get created with this. There is lining exchange between the cells for nutrients. So fat is not something that you should avoid, but you should keep that within, your body should keep it within limits. Okay. And now there's a good question. I think you guys would have remembered that many years back, probably 80s, early 90s, our scooters and motorcycles, they didn't have an oil tank, right? So whenever you fill petrol, 1 liter, you would put about 25 or 30 ml of oil for lubrication, right? I'm sure you guys do you guys remember this? How many of you had scooters? How many of you rode a scooter in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s? I'm sure you would remember this, right? Put oil, let's say 30 oil, 20 oil and all that. Now it's gone because now we have oil tanks in our motorcycles and scooters. Now my question is, if there is 1 liter of petrol and you put 500 half liter of oil, what's going to happen? Anyone? Any guesses? What will happen? Correct. It will not work. It will conk out. You'll get problems. Engine will get clogged. This will get. So the same thing is, if your body requires 1% carbohydrate and you put 50% carbohydrate into the system, what do you think is going to happen? The same thing that happened to the scooter. But a scooter is a machine, it will react finitely. The human body, unfortunately, what it does, it tries to maneuver, it tries to adapt. Okay. And what you see in the adaptation of all of this is you'll see all these signs. The body will start telling you, hey, please, man, don't put so much of oil in my petrol. Okay. Now, here's a big question mark on protein. Do you know that protein consists of 18% of your body mass? And where is this protein? The protein is in your muscle, it's in your skin, it's in your organs, it's in a lot of places. Okay. And it's really, really important, even for the body to repair. If you get a small bang yourself somewhere, there's a lot of protein that the body puts into place that it starts to repair. And if you don't have these repairing things, what's going to happen? You have a car, but there's no mechanic. What are you going to do? Your car breaks down, no mechanic. What's going to happen? You go to the mechanic, he says, sir, no tools. No electricity, no tools. What's going to happen? This car is going to rot. Same thing happens here. Okay. So I think this is a really vital chart, and I hope you guys remember this, because this is something that will awaken you. Okay. So if you don't know the body composition, you will unknowingly be killing yourself. I'm not blaming you. You didn't know. Nobody put it right down in a diagram in front of you and say, hey, this is the composition. Had you known, you would have done something about it, right? Correct. So you must remember that the entire fuel for the body comes from what you eat. Is one number. And there are other things also, not only just what you eat. But eating is not a time pass. It should be a very, very conscious thing that you do. Okay. As much as going and working and getting your salary, as much as going and paying your electricity and water bill, you have to give this also a similar kind of attention. You can't autopilot this completely. You can, but you have to think about it. Now, if you don't consume enough protein, you know what's going to happen? It's going to take it from your muscle. So what happens when it takes it from your muscle? You start getting, and your skin and all that, you'll start getting wrinkles, you start getting sagging skin. When you pull your skin, it doesn't come back. Right? How many of you, yeah, I'm not asking, I don't want to embarrass you, but if you do have that, it's because you're not getting the right amount of protein. And the same thing happens with, if you don't bring enough calcium into your body, it will take it from your bones. Okay. And it's important to stand in sunlight. You have to stand at least 15 minutes in sunlight so that you get, the requisite amount of vitamin D into your system. Okay. So just give me a second. I think I have a little noise here. Just hang on. Sorry, it's been a breezy day here. The door kind of swung open. So I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. So you need to have a full protein. Now you need 1 gram of protein for every kg of your weight. Okay. So if you're 50 kgs, you need 50 grams of protein. So somebody says, okay, I'll eat quarter kilo chicken, I'll eat quarter kilo palak, I'll eat, 250 grams paneer. What's the problem? Unfortunately, not every food will have so much quantity of all the 9 amino acids. Okay. And certain foods will have a limited quantity. Most foods have a limited quantity. An egg will have about 6 grams of protein. A big bowl of dal, quite a big one, dal, yellow dal, that's about 6 grams of protein. Palak, about 300-400 grams of palak will be about 6 to 8 grams of protein. So getting protein is not a simple thing. A glass of milk, about 250 ml is about 6 grams of protein. So the body actually requires so much because it cannot store it. It converts it immediately into what the body needs. It'll become muscle, it'll become that, and it cannot store it so it can be released naturally, very easily. It'll rob it from you when you don't have it. And this is one of the big reasons why we tend to age a lot faster. Okay. You also need fats. Okay. Now, all your cooking oil and your ghee and your butter, all of that is omega-6. Okay. It's very common. We have a lot of it. But you also need omega-3, which is found in mustard seed, flax seed. It's found plentiful in fish. You find it in olive oil. You find it in olives. These are things that are omega-3 is extremely important for doing a lot of neurochemistry, Hormones, enzymes is it's an important building block. Enzymes come into play when the body has to kind of repair itself very quickly in case of an emergency. And we definitely get into emergency situations every day. Okay. And vegetables are so important that you get all your vitamins, all your minerals come through vegetables. So you can't avoid having the right, array of vegetables. Okay. You need to have a lot of them. It's good to have them. But another more interesting science is what they call phytonutrients. These are trace elements like manganese, cobalt, silicon, selenium, maybe phosphorus, but whatever. There are chromium. These things are actually required by the body because as you approach older age, they can lead to things like Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, because you didn't have that 0.01 mg in your food. Okay. So it's important to have that. Now, complex carbohydrates. Now, I was saying carbs are bad, shouldn't have too many. Okay, 1%. But there are also carbohydrates the body cannot absorb. Okay. They're called complex carbohydrates. You'll find them in oats. You'll find them in that, fleeced husk. They call that isabgol. You'll find them in fruits like apple, guava. Okay, they have fibers. These are carbs that cannot be absorbed by the body, but are soluble in water. Now, what happens is it actually goes and lives in your intestine, in your gut. Now, if you think that we are just one body by itself, no. We have a lot of bacteria living in us, and a lot of it is good bacteria. And a lot of them live in your gut, in your intestine. Now, if you do not have enough of them living, a lot of things go wrong. Okay. But if you do have them, this bacteria actually detects whether there are toxins in the food. It detects how much of cholesterol is there. It kind of combats that. It actually does a lot of food processing before your body absorbs it. Okay. And it also gives you the best defense against against disease. And it's very responsible. It's the first line of major defense before the body has to take any action. So if you deplete this, okay, how does it get depleted? You might have taken antibiotics sometimes, so it'll kill even the good bacteria and the bad one also. Okay. And certain foods which contain lectin, a lot of foods contain lectin, and they actually are not good for your gut bacteria. And even get it in the food. Today, what's happening is everything is sprayed with insecticide. They put antibiotics in everything. Your meat, your plants survive because they have to come to your shelf, right? And if it dies before that, they lost their money. So we are being attacked by these chemicals and all these toxins on a daily basis. Okay. So just to give an example of what could really happen, when you get sorry, one moment, just close. Yeah. So if you think you have a tummy, if anyone has a tummy, or if you do have a tummy, what happens is it's like an iceberg. Only 10% is above the water. 90% is below the water. The same thing happens here. If you're a little fat on the outside, that's only 10% of your fat. 90% is around your organs. Scary, right? I'm sure my heart looked like that, the one with the red. It's called visceral fat. The visceral fat just accumulates. And imagine if it's around your heart has to beat a lot more. It's around your organ has to do a lot more work. Okay. It's not good to have. Okay. So just to give an example, don't get scared. If you do have a tummy, it's just 10% of your fat. 90% is definitely inside. But nothing to get worried about because there are ways to get around that. Okay. But this is what really happens. It blocks your metabolic action. What happens is you don't perform like you used to. Right? You're a little slower than you had. Now, to give an example of somebody that I met, his name was Mohan. He's a petroleum consultant. He does dynamite blasting for wells, and he's all over the world. And I saw him, very similar state to me, hand on his head like this. I don't know what to do. So I asked him what happened. He said, no, I have to have bariatric surgery. Now, for those of you who don't know what bariatric surgery is, when somebody puts on too much of weight, what the doctor suggests is they cut out part of your intestine, or they put a sleeve and they block the body from absorbing food. Yes, this is a legal profession. It's called, they have even a council of bariatric surgeons. And I don't know, I mean, honestly, if you ask me, I don't know how it's a very really a legal service, but they actually do this. And it's a very invasive surgery, and a lot of things can go wrong. And even after you do the surgery, you would be on medication lifelong. So here he was, hands on his head. Okay. And he was somebody who he couldn't stand for more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes he stands, he has to sit down. And he was huge. I mean, he was really big. And he said, Prem, I'm jacked. The doctors are saying I have to do this. I said, when do you have to? He says, 3 months. And I have to do this whole thing. I went to every temple, I went to every mosque, I went to every church, pray for some miracle. You know what? I think actually I'm really happy to God that God sent him to me. Okay. For whatever reason, because he never told me about this, and he just happened to meet him, and he told me this whole thing. I said, okay, give me 3 weeks. Let's do this whole thing. Took him through the whole program, said, okay, do this, do this, do this. And 3 weeks later, I was still working then. So this was like, and I was still doing it as a hobby. And I finally met him 3 weeks later. And he's there walking, and he sees me. He pulls out his belt. I said, oh gosh, maybe am I going to be killed? And he puts it in front of me and says, Prem, I've punched 6 holes in my belt. And amazing. He's punched 6 holes, and in 3 weeks, he says, I couldn't stand for 2 minutes. I've been standing nonstop for 2 hours. I feel like I better than I was 10 years ago. And that moment when I saw that, I said, I couldn't believe that he had made such a turnaround, because he was very focused. And he said, he was in a very, very bad situation. That's why he probably was motivated to do it. So he's turned around. His life is different. In fact, he wouldn't have been able to take up his job because the medical report was also bad. And all his colleagues started to notice, hey, you're looking different. I mean, you're quite like a new person. And really, I tell you, it's such a joy to see that if somebody I've just turned him away from a very, very bad remaining years of life. And then I made this decision. I said, I really have this talent. I should tell people about it, and I should promote my program, because for a fraction of whatever he had to, don't think about it. Would have cost him about 20 or 30 lakhs to get in and out of that surgery. And he did for a fraction, he has done everything. Okay. So let's go to secret number 2. And this is a really big secret. So guys, pay attention. Okay. Now, you can see the tummy fat, frequently, these are all symptoms. Okay. Wrinkles, sagging skin, not getting good sleep, nails are soft. There's also another sign. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, guys, pay attention. I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Let's see if you can answer it. You guys ready? Shall I bring it on? Okay. If there is a big fire in your house, okay, and there's a lot of smoke coming out, what do? Do you remove the smoke, or do you put out the fire? Come on, anyone can answer that? You guys are awake, right? Hope you guys have not fallen asleep. What do? Do you take out the smoke, or you put out the fire? Big fire in your house. Come on, anybody there? Okay, let's see who all are here. We've got Srini, we've got Padmini, we've got Virendra. Virendra is Superman. Virendra, I don't know, you got so much of energy, man. Very good. You put out the fire. Absolutely right. Because no matter how much smoke you remove, the fire is still going to keep burning, and to keep removing the smoke. And when you look at all of these indicators, big tummy, falling ill kind of often, can't stand for long, don't have that energy, getting wrinkled skin, back pain, some funny twitch, sagging, skin is not really as good as it used to. This is the smoke. And all you guys will go there, oh, I'm not sleepy, I can't get sleep, you'll take a sleeping tablet. Oh, I'm getting wrinkles, you put some cream, and you'll spend thousands and tens of thousands on this, and you'll have to keep spending it for the rest of your life. Nothing seems to change. That's the best part, and we'll keep doing it. Oh, this cream didn't work, I'll try this one. Oh, this one, there are about 10,000 creams. By the time you finish all the creams, your life would have been over, and you still have wrinkles. right? Now for men, here's one indicator. I don't know if you know of the term called morning wood. Okay, if the men around here will understand what morning wood is, right? Now, if you don't have a morning wood, it's a sign that things are not really. It's also an indicator that something is, because your circulatory system has gone, something's gone wrong with it. So these are all the smoke. The body is telling you, hey man, something is wrong. Something is wrong. What are you doing? Help me out. Okay, and we just ignore it. And each one of these indicators I've told you is a multi-million-dollar industry. And they want you to keep having it, because once you stop what they're doing, you stop taking their product, everything reverses or it doesn't get better. So they just lead you into a trap. So don't fall into this trap, because it's the body telling you something is going wrong. Okay. Since you guys might be interested to know, at least, okay, maybe am I out of weight? Am I too heavy? Am I in the wrong weight? Very simple. How do you calculate? You measure your height, convert it to centimeters. So if you're 5'3", that works out to 160 centimeters. Minus 100. Simple. Take your height minus 100 in centimeters. So if you're 160 centimeters, then your weight should be 60 kilos between 54 and 60. This is the exact band you should be in. You can't be below 54 and you can't be. This is the band you should be in. Okay. So there's a good tolerance in between. There's no problem. But it's a very simple thing. I'm sure you can calculate it right now. You can use, if you have if you know your height, just use Google and say convert to centimeters. And you can also say, what's my ideal weight? You'll find out. Okay. But weight is not the important thing here. We find out that our body is not working like it did. Forget about when I was 25. Even 5 years ago, my body is not the same. Slightly different. It's not, the things I could do, I could jump and I could leap and I could now, difficult. Okay. How did this happen? A lot of this happened because we neglected our good bacteria. We didn't have good gut health. And that's happened for many reasons. I'm not blaming you. We all have to face the world and we all have similar problems and we all are ignorant about it. And I was completely ignorant about it. Okay. And the body is continuously fighting minor issues. Okay. Now just think about it. If you fall down a staircase and break your leg, what's going to happen? Can you think about anything? No. Your brain is completely occupied, right? Completely. That is 100% pain. But when you have the small backache or little toothache, body is going to fight. It's going to try to regulate it so it doesn't feel the pain. And a lot of glycogen, a lot of sugars are going to get out of the body. A lot of things are going to happen. Okay, the body is wonderful. It will always react. You won't know about it because it's all happening subconscious. But it takes part of your brain power. So instead of your brain power working 100%, it's been, this pain, that one, this all starts to reduce. It puts a strain on your processing of your system. Okay. So a lot of people would have heard about this basal metabolic index on a nice little term over there. But it's actually what it means is for your height, this should be your weight. Okay. And they'll do some kind of calculation and you'll just divide by, so many squared and whatever is formula, but actually just tells you how much of weight. I call it bullshit metabolic index. It's absolutely, it doesn't tell you what's happening in your body. It doesn't tell you what's wrong. It just tells you, okay, for your height, this is your weight. Then if my weight is correct, why don't I have the energy and everything I had, right? Should ask yourself that question. What is a better way to do it? Okay. It's a little secret. Okay? Not many people would have told you about this, but this is how you do it. You take a measuring tape and go around your belly button. As a kid, I used to always poke that and say, Mommy, what's this? And she couldn't explain because I was too small. But anyway, you take the measuring tape and go around your belly button, write it down. Guys got this? Okay. Now go below your belt. Go below your belt and take the widest part of your buttocks. Okay, the widest part below where you tie your belt. Write that down. Okay, so you have two measurements. So you divide the waist and the hip. Okay, So obviously your waist has to be smaller than your hip, correct? For men, the ratio is 0.85. And for women, because they're more delicate creatures, theirs is 0.75. Okay. Now, why am I telling you this? If this value is 1 or greater than 1, it is a absolute indicator that you're headed towards some kind of a lifestyle problem. It could be type 2 diabetes, it could be a heart problem, it could be a stroke, it could be, a lot of things. So if your measurement is more than 1, I'd advise you to do something about it really quickly. Okay, because the time is really finite. It not happen tomorrow. Don't be scared. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but you can definitely see yourself deteriorating over the next 1 or 2 years. You'll start seeing a lot of problems coming in. And type 2 diabetes is one of the first things that actually happen. And it's very hard to reverse. Type 2 diabetes is not a simple thing. And it's if you can do something about it, right? Might as well do something about it. So if you're 1 or above, even if you're 0.9, you have to make sure you get it below 0.85. Okay. So how does all these problems start? You skip breakfast. Now everyone says, oh, this is some conja breakfast. I'll see. As soon as you get up, the body needs energy. Okay. And if you don't give it energy and you skip breakfast and go for lunch, what's going to happen? How many of you skip breakfast? Okay. I'm not asking you to type yes or no, but if you skip breakfast and have lunch after that, what happens after your lunch? You feel very sleepy. How many of you feel sleepy after lunch? Come on, I'm sure one of you guys feel sleepy after lunch. I used to feel sleepier when I was in my trouble. Every time I had lunch, I definitely wanted to have a small snooze. Right? Why do you feel sleepy? Very simple. For you to digest food, the body needs energy. Right? If you try to run your toy on low batteries, what's going to happen? Nothing. The toy is not going to move. You try to run your remote control for your TV and the batteries are dead. What's going to happen? It's going to take very long. May will ask, oh, it came on. Right? So that's the reason why so if you start skipping breakfast, the body is going to start going into its reserve and pump out a lot of glycogen. Okay, and a lot of this stuff is going to happen. Then not eating full protein. Half protein is 5 amino acids. A lot of people, they'll tell you, don't eat the yellow in the egg, only eat the white. Hey, you know what? When you remove the yellow, 5 proteins, 5 amino acids are gone. You got left with 4. I know what the body does. It doesn't do anything with it. This junk. It needs all of that, else it won't process it. So that's what happens. And the other one is processed food. Now, processed food is what? It's a substance. Okay. It has to have long shelf life. So what do? They remove all the nutrients. Okay. Maida is a processed food. Okay. It's bleached. A lot of oils are refined with chemicals. Sugar is, if you look at sugarcane juice, it's a pale yellow color. How does a pale yellow color become white? Yeah, they process it. They make something out, and that's not the only thing that's processed. Ready to fry foods, kurkure and 2 minutes and all of that. These are all processed foods, and they're substances. They're not foods. Okay, and this is one of the processed foods are one of the biggest reasons why people fall into NCDs. Heart attack, stroke, all these type 2 diabetes, these are all contributors. So you don't have enough nutrients in the body. And sugar at the wrong time. Now, I was somebody, for me, to have a late night meeting at maybe about 12 or 1 o'clock in the night. And next day in the morning, they'll say, 7:30, I got a call. And then sometime in the afternoon, there's another meeting. I used to just skip breakfast, skip meals. And what I used to do? Coffee. Coffee. This is the instant one to kill the hunger. And in each cup, I would put 3 spoons. Now, WHO recommends only 5 teaspoons a day. I was having 45 spoons in a day. Crazy, right? So the younger days, the body had some some way of like working around it, but finally took its toll. Okay. So when you don't build this right kind of schedule for yourself, your body builds what is called insulin resistance. We'll talk about this a little later in the next couple of slides, why the hell this is important. So how many of you want to reverse this? Do you want to really reverse the things? I think you're getting an idea about what's going on. And don't you want to turn this back, turn your clock back and say, I want my body to function how it was when I was 25. You may not look like you're 25, but your body should function like it's 25 because you've already gone and pushed it to a limit. The way you look may not be so easy to turn back. I mean, you can't remove your scars. You can't, a lot of things you may not be able to, but you definitely turn back how if you will get the energy, your youth energy back, right? How many of you want to reverse this? Looks like nobody wants to. Virendra, I tell you, he's already 10 years younger than you guys, man. Come on. Padmini, definitely. Okay, good. Good. I love that. Okay. So I can see two people who are taking this really seriously. Other people are watching this like a Netflix movie. How many of you are watching this like a Netflix movie? Okay, pay attention, because even though this webinar might be absolutely free, you're not going to hear this from anyone. Okay. It's taken me 10 whole years to discover these secrets and give it to you. And it's taken me years. And I'm just giving it to you in a few minutes. If you had to go through life and find this out, you would never get this so easily. Okay. So here's a case study. Now, how many of you think the person on the left with the gray pant is heavier, or the guy with the blue pant, blue jeans on the right is heavier? Who do you think weighs more? Quiz time, folks, quiz. Who do you think is heavier? Virendra says blue jeans. Good. Anybody else for an answer? Anybody thinks the gray pant wala short pants is heavier? Okay. Now, good answers. Okay, Srini, Padmini, also very good answers. Okay, they actually weigh the same, but the guy in the blue pant might be a little heavier. That's true. But at first glance, anyone will look at them and say, hey, guy in gray pants is definitely more weight. Why is that? Because fat is 10 times bigger than muscle. Fat is 10 times bigger than protein. It's like iron and cotton. 1 kg of iron might be only so much. 1 kg of cotton will be a lot. So the same thing happens here. Okay. So the muscular man, definitely. Now I'll just give you a little bit of this particular person whose name is Robert Marchand. He's 105 years old and he's recognized as the oldest competitive cyclist. Competitive means he takes parts in events. And at his age, he covers roughly around 23 kilometers in an hour on a cycle. I want to know how many of you at the age of 75 will be able to do this. You think you'll be able to do this at the age of 75? Forget 105. I don't ask you whether you can do this now, because that will be an embarrassing question, right? No, I'm not going to ask you, but imagine you're going to live long. Trust me, you will live long. But we don't want to live when we are about 80, 90, and you can't walk from here to your dining table. You can't go to the toilet by yourself. You can't take a shower by yourself. We don't want that to happen, right? We want to be somebody on a cycle. Now, everyone says, oh, this is genetic, hereditary. If it were the case, his children have died and he's still alive. Now, if it was genetic, even his children should have been, still alive and hale and hearty. No, there are certain things that he did, and he knows these little secrets that I'm telling you. And that's how he got through this. And that's how he's still kicking it out there, right? Don't we want to be, super active even till the last minute we live? It's really important. And it doesn't take much to do it. Yes, it definitely takes some discipline, takes some focus. I tell you, it's focus. You want to do it, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, it doesn't matter. It'll never happen. If you don't want to do it, it'll never happen. It's the point of saying, I want to do this. This is something. And if it's not too difficult, definitely you should do it. right? So Padmini is saying, not even now. Don't worry, Padmini. This is a very temporary situation, and I'm telling you, I had immense problems. I was really, if I had not done something about it, I'm sure I was become diabetic. I would have got a stroke or something like that would have happened to me. Okay. So secret number 3. Okay, now we're getting very close to this. Okay. So secret number 3 is break the insulin trap and destroying your gut health. This is the biggest enemy. This is the terrorist for the body. Okay. Yeah, really the terrorist. Okay. And who is causing the terror? We ourselves are causing the terror. Now, here's what happens. Every kind of food, somehow or the other, will have certain amount of sugars in it. And the body converts that into glucose. So the insulin is the one that carries all of this around the body, especially to the muscle, okay, which needs this energy for movement and whatever. Now, as soon as you eat something like this, the insulin will go up because it has to go through the blood. It can't go through the blood because it's the only way it can move. Okay, so the body has developed many transport, little buses and little aircraft to go around the body. Okay, sorry. So the sugars in your blood will last roughly around 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes, and it will die down. Okay, this is what happens when, especially when you've skipped your breakfast and you eat lunch, your blood sugar is going to, it's going to go up and suddenly it's going to crash. And when it suddenly crashes, you'll start to feel the sleepiness. But not only that, when the glucose comes down, you start to feel, okay, I want to eat a snack, I'm feeling hungry, all this. So you have this funny thing happening. And over the years, we just keep chewing on stuff. And what happens? There is no more curve. Your insulin is like one straight line on the top. There's so much of continuous insulin in the blood that there's nothing you can do about it. Now, even if you stop eating sugar, stop eating completely, the body has become trained. It's like a dog. You train it to, okay, they'll say, Johnny, jump. You do, it'll jump. It'll jump. So the body has formed a habit. And what happens is, even if you don't give it food, automatically insulin will go into the blood. So why is this a big problem? The big problem is insulin is a solo artist. When he comes on the stage, no one else can perform. Nobody else can be around. And who is that other person? It's called the liver. The liver is the organ that synthesizes and processes a lot of food in our body. So when it's processing it and when insulin is out in your blood, it says, liver, sorry, I'm here. Don't send any food this side. So the liver doesn't know what to do. It says, oh, gosh, I have to stop production. I've got so much, I've produced so much. What should I do? So now it starts to convert that into fat, converts it into cholesterol, and it converts it into stomach acid. These 3 things become the byproduct. Okay. And so what happens is this little cycle goes on. And over the years, what has happened is you've trained your body to have a lot of insulin. And therefore, it starts to tick. And as the years go by, putting on that extra fat, losing that energy becomes even more faster. Okay. So you got to break out of this trap. Okay. The same thing that also helps you is your gut health. It helps you combat a lot of this. And we can't help it. It's going to get attacked every time, but we need to know how to fuel it so that it can stay healthy and can grow back. So this is not easy to reverse by any conventional means. You might have, some people will suggest drugs, but these don't work. Okay. So it's kind of getting yourself rebooted. Okay. So when you break from the insulin trap, you will be able to reach a vitality goal very quickly in a fixed amount of time. Okay. And when you're able to do that, you'll start to see a change within 3 weeks. No years. There's no years in my system at all. No years. So all you can count it by the days. Okay. Because that's how powerful this is. So how do you feel? This is the future case study of you. You had more energy. People start to notice you, say, hey, there's something different about you. You know, you have resistance to disease and you start to look and feel younger. Okay. So there are two ways to do it, either natural way or unnatural way. Unnatural is you take drugs, you do surgeries and you do all that. Fine. It's a temporary kind of a thing, because once you go back, everything comes back. But in a natural way, the body works like an orchestra and it continues to do it. When you give it the right instruments to play, it will play correctly. So for a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people are reluctant to do anything because you might have tried something else. I tried going to the gym, didn't work, tried this, and it's so difficult. I have to pack, I have to do so many things just to get there. Some people have tried Zumba, whatever. It kind of works, but it's taking too long. See, all exercises, what happens, you'll burn first week, everything, looking good, you'll burn a little bit, and after that, you'll stop. No matter how much you put, 5 hours, 6 hours, you'll call a plateau. You'll not go beyond that level. Okay. Some people just don't care. We'll see. It's all part of life. If things have to happen, it happens. So people don't really care. Some people wondering how tough is this? Oh, must be some tough thing. I have to do like 300 push-ups, run around run some 5 kilometers, and people are worried about how much have you have to do, because you may not have the time. Okay. And then you're worried about, when will this get better? There is no end. Everyone says, do this, do this. I'm sure you've seen a lot of stuff online. They'll say, keep doing this, but when do I stop? And when do I start? When do I stop? I should see some results, right? Nobody talks about that. So the results are not permanent. Okay. People wonder, if I stop doing something. See, there are a lot of stuff out there. When you stop doing that program of this, everything reverses. And then you have to keep paying, or you have to keep doing, and it continues. It's like, keep milking it. Okay. The other one is, people will laugh at me if I try to, you want to become super strong, super sexy, all that, they'll say, and they laugh at you. So people feel embarrassed. Okay. So, and of course, not motivated. I'll just give you one point of motivation. And you got to think about this very seriously. If you're a breadwinner in your house, or if you're somebody looking after the family, a homemaker, if something happens to you and you land up in an ICU, what's going to happen to everyone else's life? The whole schedule is going to change. They're going to have to come running to the hospital. You're going to have to attend to them. Some attender has to be there. I'm telling you, I've seen this happen to too many people, and I've had to stand in for some relatives. It might be uncle and all of that, but still their own kids can't handle it because somebody has to be in the hospital. So your friends, your family, everyone goes in chaos. So if you care about your loved ones, you'll at least do something to prevent it. And forget about not only the inconvenience, it even costs a lot of money. Your savings, it puts a pressure on your savings. It puts a pressure on your dreams, because once you're locked up over there, everyone's dreams have gone for a 6. So I'm telling you, if you're not motivated, here's something, you have one very good reason why you should do it. Right? Would you want to go? Ask people, do you want to go and spend, up to about 80,000-90,000 rupees a day in an ICU? Or would you spend 1/100th of or 1,000th of that every day, so that you can just avoid this from happening and be like you were like so many years, 10, 20 years back? I don't know. I'm not sure a lot of people are not motivated. So how many of you learned something in the last 60 minutes? Did you learn something new? A couple of things. Would you have ever seen it on YouTube or seen it on Google? Right? Not a lot of them. Right? Some of them you might have seen, some of them might have heard. Right? But there is a lot more to learn. I'm just giving you 3. There are hundreds and thousands of these things that and they're not very complicated. They're they actually make a lot of sense when you start to understand it. You'll find out, oh my God, it's so simple. And what have I been doing? And you'll be kicking yourself. Okay. So when you get that awareness, you'll say, okay, now I know what this is all about. So you can either follow an old fashioned way, 20th century. We're in the 21st century now. You need to do something that's modern, something that's effective, and something that works. Okay. I mean, this is really, I do definitely guarantee a lot of this. So now I'm going to ask you, are you a person who takes action? Or are you a daydreamer? Or, something, so you just think about it, but, procrastinate, never do anything about it. So a lot of people, I want to be a strong guy. I love it. But no action, nothing. You're not even moving one step forward. Okay. And like I said earlier, if you really don't want to put your loved ones under strain, you'll think about doing something, take some action, right? You should. Okay. There's another category that never invest in themselves. I was this person. Trust me, I was really this person. Besides, my education, whatever that, and a little bit of study, after that, the only things I do are buy some clothes and that's it. And everything else was the only investment meant buy house, buy car, buy this jewelry, buy that. After a certain time, I stopped spending a dime on myself. I really didn't spend. I was buying all these commodities. Okay, I need a good laptop because it makes my life better. I need a good cell phone because, hey, I get so many calls. I bought everything to make my life convenient. And at the end of the day, I have not spent anything for myself. Now think about it. You are the person that's going and making all these things happen. You're making a luxurious life. Putting your children through school. You're doing all these miracles for everyone, right? You're a machine too. And your machine will need a service sometime. When do you invest in yourself? You have to give, because see, when something is doing good, you invest in it, right? Oh, it's good stock. Oh, good stock market. Please invest. You're a good person too. You're done all of this through your life. You've come here and you sat through this webinar. Okay. This is one tiny step you've taken to invest in yourself. It's an important step, but you've got to see it all the way through. And nothing can be more important than your own vitality. Right? I think it surpasses everything. If you have all this energy and you have the energy and you have this youthful feeling, nothing can stop you, right? So invest in yourself. Now, what you can do is learn the science, master what I call the youth schedule. And it's all an action steps sequence that happens, and it takes 6 weeks. It's the whole kind of program. Okay. So for those of you right now, I've kind of done with kind of the knowledge sharing, and I hope that was enjoyable for you. What I'm going to do is, with your permission, I'm going to introduce you to a paid program. It's a paid program. So those of you are not really, there's no force. If you think, I definitely don't want to know what this is about, no problem. You can leave. It's not an issue. But if you're really seriously interested and you're a serious person who likes to take action and you want to find out what this program and what you might have to afford for it, stay on. But with your permission, can I introduce this program to you? It's called the Dynamic Vitality Model. Can I do it? Without yes, I won't proceed. Sure. Okay. Thank you, Padmini. Okay. So the Dynamic Vitality Model, okay, is a system that does not eat up your time. Okay. The amount of time you'll spend eating is all that amount, really not more than that. I mean, you'll spend a few minutes extra and that's about it. Okay. There is no starvation. Okay. When Mohan, that person who had to do bariatric surgery, he said, okay, what should I cut? And I said, there's nothing to cut. You have to eat more. He was shocked. Actually, if you go to my registration page, you'll actually see, I don't know if you guys scroll down, but his interview is on the lower half of the registration page. Okay, his whole interview is there. Okay. And I'll tell you, his is the only testimonial I ever needed. Everyone else will say, oh, I'm reluctant to put this, but his was so dramatic. I think the world needed to know about it. But anyway, he had to eat more. Okay, so it was fun. He was shocked. He didn't believe me in the beginning and he had no choice. The good thing is he had no choice. And he said, okay, I'll try whatever it takes. I have to get out of this mess. There is no age barrier. You can be 18 or you can be 108. There is no age barrier for this. Okay. There are no lengthy and straining exercises. Yes, there are some exercises, but they last only 1 or 2 minutes. And you can do it anywhere. You don't need sophisticated equipment. You can do it while waiting for for the bus or standing in a queue or whatever. You can do it anywhere. Okay. Even if you're waiting, ideally, not doing much, no medication, no drugs, no medication at all. Okay. And of course, there are no harmful side effects, but there are side effects. You want to know what those side effects are? Side effect number 1 is you may have to get a new set of clothes because you may not fit into them, especially if you are extra fat and your waist size and will change. Okay. And nicely too. The other things, people may not recognize you. For a moment, they'll look at it, they'll say, is it you? Oh yeah, it's you. Okay, so this is one of the side effects. And third side effects is you're going to have a lot of energy. So you're going to be very restless after a few weeks. You'll say, oh, I want to do a lot more. I want to do a lot more. Okay, that's a side effect. Definitely you'll feel. And don't worry, you'll definitely fall asleep. Okay, that's another good side effect is by the time you've gone through the program, the minute you put your head on the pillow, within few minutes, you will get sleep immediately. I have, when I was going through my hell, I could not sleep. I would try counting sheep, counting donkeys, counting monkeys, drink hot glass of milk, I tried every damn thing. And I could only barely sleep for a few hours. And very big struggle I would get. Now, I put my head on a pillow and I say, it's time for me to sleep, gone. 2 minutes, I'm gone. So now that's a good side effect. So if you have this, you have fatigue, low immunity, extra fat, okay, sleeplessness, bad medical report. But this is what you want. You want to have that vitality and energy that you had in your younger days. You want to be in the ideal weight. You don't want to be in a dangerous situation. You want to have a lot of resistance to disease, high immunity. You want to slow down, reverse your aging. You want better skin. You want things to improve. You want you want that glow back in yourself. You want people to admire you. And definitely you want to be more successful because you have more energy. You will definitely have the ability to get more success. And finally, don't land up in a hospital. You can then very confidently, after you've gone through this, and once you make this a part of your life, you'll laugh at saying, oh, I wonder if I ever go into that hospital. Okay. So it's a good thing to aspire. Now, people wonder, is it expensive? Just think about if you fall into one of these traps. These are just some basic expenses. This is only operation cost, like knee replacement, bypass, whatever. Okay. You all guys might be billionaires. I'm sure many of you guys are much more rich than me. But the point is, can you have a normal life after that? And remember, these are not you. This is a direct cost. They're all hidden costs. There's post-operative care. There's just a whole lot of. I don't want you guys to ever get into something like this, right? Type 2 diabetes, you'll start getting osteoporosis and all these funny things happen. I'll tell you, there's a nightmare out there, but you can stop it. Okay. So this is the ultimate system to gain vitality in a natural way. Okay. Many other programs will do. They'll treat symptoms, not causes. They'll never tell you why. They'll say, do this, do this, do this, do this. I'll never tell you what is the reason. But here I go with the reasoning first. I give you awareness and then you say, oh, yes, this is what I should do. And you'll do it with conviction. There is no end goal except weight loss and whatever. Here, this is much beyond that. This is an overall. Weight loss is a byproduct of this. And I am not here to make you lose weight. I'm here to get your metabolism. I'm here for you to restore what your body can actually do and what it was. Okay. People will not give you a time frame. They won't tell you in 1 year, or they'll just say, keep continuing it. For some, it's 6 months. For some people, it's 6 years. No guarantees. Simply because they don't understand what's happening. They have not understood the body. And I will help you understand those secrets of the body. They're not secrets. It's just that nobody talks about it. They're not made relevant to you, but they're all hidden somewhere. So whenever something's hidden, you call it a secret. Okay. And they don't give you a guarantee. My program is straightforward. You start on the silver, you get the awareness, and once you step into the gold and you do the 6-week challenge, and if you don't meet, uh, you know, I'll eat my shoe if you don't, if you have followed it correctly. And not only that, you'll get your money back. Okay. I'm not here. I've made enough money in the software industry. Okay. I'm not here to loot people's money. I don't want even people who are impulsive and say, oh, good advertising, good webinar, I'll just buy it. No, you have to be wanting to do this for your life. I don't want any compulsive buyers here also. Okay. So what dynamic vitality does is your body will learn what it was to be young again. You have to unlearn, your body has to unlearn what it did and it has to go back to its original learning. So you'll master what we call these natural sciences and the natural sources, and what is this easy scheduling about? How do I actually get everything into my life? Okay. You will be enhancing the key areas of your body and you will begin miracle repair. You know, when the miracle repair happens, when you're sleeping. Wow. This is like, it's like I go to sleep and it's like, like you make dosa and all that. I put the batter and it'll ferment in the night and I get up, I have nice dosa batter. It's just like that, And once you've gone through this, you will be able to sustain this for the rest of your life. Okay. You won't even have to come back to me again after that, or you will never have to go to anyone else. It's a finite thing. It's a finite cost. It's a finite time. And all you have to do is just make a habit of it after that. And you'll automatically do it. I'll show you how to make a habit of it and it becomes enjoyable. Okay. So there are 2 steps to it. And it'll be very clear. And there are 2 separate programs. Okay. One is a silver membership that you get all the awareness. And I'll tell you what's in the middle of that. And the second part, which is you upgrade to the gold member, is where you get to make your own blueprint. You will make it. Okay. Of course, I'm going to guide you through it. I'm going to give you the ingredients to do it, and you will actually be able to do it. And I'll definitely review it. I'm not going to leave you and say, hey, you took the course, get lost. Okay. No, you actually get into that. And I will take you through the whole 6 weeks. Okay. And I'm telling you, the results start to show even as early as the 3rd week. Okay. Sometimes if I find people have not got anywhere in the 4th week, there are only 2 things. One is they've not followed it and they said, yeah, I'm doing it. And 2 is maybe they're not interested. So what I do is I usually refund in the 4th week because I don't want people who don't want to succeed. I'm telling you, my mission is to make India the healthiest nation in the world. And only serious people can do this. And it takes serious people to make other people serious. Right? I can't do this alone. I can't get 100,000 people just like that. Right? 1 lakh people getting them healthy it's not a joke. It's a huge mission. So why should you follow a system? I'll tell you what, it will save you time. And there is a cost of ignorance also. Because when you try everything bits and pieces, oh, I saw this video, oh, I read this small book, they'll only talk about 1 or 2% of what you need to know. And what happens? You lose, because of ignorance, you start losing faith in that. That might be actually correct, but it's only 1 step out of the 100. And you've just done that 1 step, it didn't work, and then that's it over. Because you've not done the other 30 or 40 that are required. I'm not saying there are so many, but I'm just giving an example. And of course, you need guidance. You need to know when you're trying to learn a new language, a new skill, you're trying to ride a cycle or learn how to fly an airplane, whatever. Somebody has to be there to guide you, tell you, hey, this is what you're to do, step 1, step 2, step 3. You need guidance, right? So the silver membership, it's a membership, so you get part of a community and you also get courseware. Now, this is an online courseware that you can do at the leisure of wherever you are. So there's no hurry. I don't get pushed. You don't miss a class. So you can do it at your own pace. Okay. So you learn about the building blocks of the body, kind of really important. You'll find methods to discover the right nutrients, actually, wouldn't say food, that will love you back. There are certain things will not love you back, but there are some things which will love you back. Okay. I have a proven tracking and goal system that will actually show you how to progress. Okay. And what are these habits to succeed? I'll tell you, there are so many things that can go wrong because there are so many distractions in life. What are the ways and how do you get the habits to actually succeed in doing something like this? And what are these ingredients that create vitality? Okay. There's a lot of these things out there. What are they? Right. So you'll find out, you will become a food detective. You'll become like, that big CID or that big MI6 James Bond, whatever. You'll become a food detective. You'll be able to pick up wherever you are, wherever you travel, whenever you go. You will immediately be able to pick up, hey, this place has this. Okay, I'm taking this. What is the right type of exercise? Okay, there's a wrong type of exercise. There's what is called a right type of exercise. You can't do wrong exercise when your body does not have the right configuration. Right? When you don't have the right configuration, it's going to crash. So you guys might be computer guys. Wrong configuration. I use a try to use a mobile processor on a notebook and I try to run some big video animation software, it's going to crash. So what to expect on this entire journey? I can actually tell you what will happen on the next day, the next week, because it's that predictable. And that's once the body kicks in, I can tell you what's going to happen. You'll go to the course and I'll say, okay, this is day number 7. This is how you are. This is how you're feeling. This is what's going to happen. And don't panic. Yes, this is a normal thing. It's great, right? If I can actually predict your future, it's fantastic because that's how. And the gold membership, of course, is the actual challenge. This is now you've taken the awareness. Now you build your attack plan. And then after that, you just go through it for those 45 days, 6 weeks. Okay. And I'm telling you, it all your first and second week will be how everything forms. And by the third week, the body has unlearned and it starts to actually begin anew. It's amazing. Okay. And so there are 3 other additional courses that come with it, which are related to house vitality. The house also needs vitality. There is kitchen vitality. Okay. And this is what we call, the easy exercise system, which is it's kind of a toning system, which you can do out of your bed. It's a little more advanced than the silver, and it's not so rigorous. But these are some things that will come, and it's exactly 6 weeks to change. Okay, and this is what you'll get. You'll get lifetime access. Okay, this is not something where I'll peel you off and whatever. And at each level, you'll get a certificate saying that you've completed it. You'll get community support, and you get part of being in the weekly mastermind call. So not only do you get this kind of course, you will be getting some new stuff, how to encourage you, what's a question answer live every Monday. Okay, and I run that at 7:30, and that's part of this program too. And you'll get part of the WhatsApp/Telegram group in case there's anything new. I will share a lot more stuff on what new videos I've made and things like that. Okay, and very kind of Netflix kind of looking kind of a thing. You have you have all the courseware on the left, and you click and you get your videos that keep running. You can see the play button and all that there. Okay, so it's quite a lot of stuff. Okay, it's a lot of awareness. So the journey is simple. You start as a silver member, you build all the knowledge that is required, and it takes about 5 to 7 days to discover these hidden secrets. And when you do that, actually, when you get into the gold membership, what happens is all makes sense. Okay, and you'll spend about 3 days to create a master plan for yourself and the blueprint, which I'll revise with you, and then boom, you're in action. Absolute action. And it starts there, and you go week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week. I'll tell you, by week 4, you will already believe the program is working. And that will give you even more motivation to go through. Of course, then after the 6 weeks, what do? You've learned it all. You've also done it practically, and all you have to do now is just continue with it. Okay, it's amazing. So there's a lot of happy members. Mohan, I just told you about. Okay, and you can see, I felt that my problems. He felt he never had any problem to start with. He felt like it disappeared, like he never had to do. So it was amazing. Anant was another state TT champion, and he couldn't play. He'd come back after, many years later, and he's trying to play. He couldn't play 2 games. I'll tell you, 2 games, even a 10-year-old can play. A 10-year-old can play 5 games, and he didn't have that. But after he went to the course, his wife told me, oh, he's standing in the mirror and he's admiring his body. Okay, not only did he get his energy back, his body kind of changed. Another girl, Varsha, who said, she felt demotivated because she felt her skin was dull and she was not looking bright and everything. And she was quite depressed. And this, of course, took her back again. Another thing that I have not known, Rakesh was the guy who was borderline diabetic. He reversed. He came back. Michael was somebody who had an accident and he was bedridden for about a year. And when he came out, he was like ever since then, he was out really, really huge. And he dramatically changed. And people really didn't recognize him. They thought it was his younger brother. And he doesn't have a younger brother. They thought it was, a smaller version of him. And so his life changed. Another very brilliant thing that happened to me was, though the person didn't join the course, uh, he was about to commit suicide. So even though I might not be offering the program to when people may not be taken, there are chances that you can make a difference in somebody's life. And that person really broke down. And I don't know why, God puts people in front of you who you can help. And all you have to do is just help, right? So anyway, he's making a recovery. And there are a lot more people, but these are kind of some of the big ones I'd like to talk to you about. I don't want to go and give hundreds of testimonials and kind of sell this to you, because you just do it. And if it doesn't work, it will work. I mean, what I'm saying, but if you're so scared it won't work, you'll get your money back. So I have some gifts for action takers. If you're really serious and you think, okay, something I want to get into, I have some gifts for you guys. So the first gift you're going to get is a book that I've compiled. It tells you all the nuances about vitamins, minerals, all that whole lot of stuff in very simple English. And it's taken me about 8 years of research to put into it. And that's worth 6,000, which is coming to you as a gift. Okay. Now the base price of the system is 29,000. Value. Okay. Another value add is 6,000. So you're now getting 35,000 value. Please wait. Don't run away. This is value. Toothbrush costs 100, but you save 1 lakh if you brush your teeth. Okay. Motivation. This is something you really need, because life is going to put a lot of pressure on you and it's very hard to meet your target. I'm sure this book will really help you not only in this program, but it'll help you in anything else you want to choose to achieve. Okay, so it's a great thing. You get past a lot of common blocks. Okay, that's 4,000 value, and that's again a gift. Vitality superfoods. These are some magical foods that you have to eat probably just maybe once a week or once in 10 days. And they have some brilliant, so a huge plethora of them, where to get them, when to eat them, why to eat them, a whole lot of science behind that, and all in simple English. And that's worth 4,000 value. So if you put it all together, your entire value is about 43,000. Okay, this is what it's worth. Okay, but I've given you these gifts free, so it's coming down. Right? So this entire bundle, if you look at it, is worth 43,000. But this is an offer for 29. I'm giving you everything free, but still want a discount? Yeah, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. So now I have, for those of you who are going to take action, you can stay on. Okay, because I'm going to give you this little magical offer. There are 2 offers. There is one for the silver membership, and there's one for silver and gold put together. Okay. Now the gold membership by itself is worth about 83,000. The silver membership by itself is worth about 43,000. But I'm going to make a really fantastic, crazy offer for you guys, because you've come into the webinar and this is the great festive season. And I really want you guys to get into it. But before I do this, okay, I definitely am going to keep this open only till the end of this, just a few minutes after this webinar. But before I jump any further, let me just stop the share and tell you why am I doing this? Why am I going to give you a really ridiculous offer? Now, this starts back. I had a classmate in school who's a boxer. He was the epitome of solid strength. A huge, solid guy. I think his wrist was bigger than my thighs. He was a solid guy. And we've been friends. Of course, we've been classmates and we've been friends through the years. Of course, we've all gone our different lives and everything. And we've kept getting in touch and we've been working on and off. We would meet. Finally, not finally, but about little a year before COVID came in, he phoned me up and said, "Hey, Prem, having some health issues, can I meet you? You told me you were doing this as hobby and whatever." I said, "Yeah, I'm still not yet taking it up professionally, but yes, I still do it. You can come over anytime and we'll meet." So I said, "Okay, I'll meet you next week." The next week never came. Called him up again, a little bit. He said, "Hey, what happened? You didn't come." "Yeah, I got held up work. I had some big thing going on. I'll meet you another day. I'll call you." And this kept getting postponed. Postponed. And then finally COVID came. Now COVID, everyone was in their own world, and everyone kind of lost touch, and we were more worried about how can we, cook food in our house and how do we get provisions. And so life changed. And I finally met him. I'll tell you when. It was actually May this year is when I met him. And I met him in an ICU. He had been suffering. He'd already been there 3 weeks, spending each moment of his just dying slowly. And he had become that, from that solid boxer, he'd become like an earthworm. Shrunk. He was only skin and bones. And he was so delirious. He just about looked at me, and I could know that he recognized him, couldn't talk. And I felt so miserable. An old friend of mine, and I couldn't do anything for him. I felt like 5 paisa. I said, how can I let this happen to me? How can this ever happen to him? All I had to do is twist his hand, go run behind him, push him. Now you guys have come into the webinar. I'm sure I don't want to see that picture ever come in my head again. And I'm going to twist your arm. I'm going to make an absolute certainty that I'm not going to let you go if somebody who wants to take action. If you don't want to, there's no problem. You can move on. There's no force here. But if you're really wanting to do something about this program, really works. And I've saved so many people. And I tell you, doctors are baffled. So I've made it now a point that I'm going to push my face right into you guys, because there is no other way. You guys are going to move on this, right? So somebody asked me, why you make it? Because I charge one-on-one session 45,000 rupees. And they're telling me why. I said, see, I'm not going to be there 24 hours to help them. They're going to go through it. They're going to meet every week, or they're going to call me and send me a mail. I don't have to spend that much of time. And it's the only way I can get it out to more people. If I can do only 5 people a month, how will I do 1 lakh? It's impossible. How will I change this country? So therefore, as I'm actually doing this, I will share my screen again, and I'll share the links too. Okay. So this little offer that I'm going to give you for the silver membership, it is 4,999 only. Okay, it's 43,000 value that I'm giving you in a real, absolute, totally discounted price. Okay. And the 43 plus 83, if you put it together, which is like a huge amount of money, it's a lakh for the course. If you buy the package deal now, you will get it for 12,999. Okay. Both the systems combined. Okay. And it's an absolute, this is like one stop, no hidden costs. This is it. This is the absolute thing. This is it. There's no hidden costs. This is it. Flat on your face. It's an absolute thing, because I'm not here to come and run you out of you. I want to give you more value than what you pay for. Okay. And what's even better than that? 1 minute. Okay. What's even better than that is, if you do this program and you will succeed, and people are going to ask you where you did, what you do it, you just refer a few more people, and all this money is back, because you'll get them back. You'll get roughly anywhere between 10 to 25% based on which program goes. You'll get that back as commission. So there's no way you're going to lose. The only thing you lose is all your bad stuff will go away, and you'll get really all the good stuff. So I'm going to put the package in front of you. Okay. There's a link here in the chat box. Okay. This is the whole package, and trust me, it's better to just do this, because if you buy it in piecemeal, it'll become 14,999 plus 12,999. So you're getting actually silver free if you take up this package. But if you want to go step by step and say, okay, no, first let me get in as a silver membership and then decide. Okay. Now, both of these payment links are absolutely secure. They are through Razorpay. Okay, Razorpay does a whole due diligence on the people who has, if I put my link out, you've got to go through a whole lot of documentation. So it's safe. You don't worry about it. And you can even use an installment scheme, which you'll find on the screen, if you think you want to pay this in installments. So maybe you want to pay this over a year. So it will cost you about 1,000 rupees, right? Per month. Actually, when you do this program, it's going to last you for the rest of your life. Okay. And if you live, and if your life changes and you have this wonderful life for 30 years, the next 30 years are just maybe in 40, maybe in 50, it'll cost you 1 rupee a day. Is the amount I'm asking you to invest in yourself. Now, 40 years from now, we don't even know what 1 rupee is worth. There may not be 1 rupee, maybe 100 rupees will be the smallest thing. So I'm advising you to take this. Okay. And of course, it definitely costs to run this system. It definitely costs to give you all the infrastructure. It all costs. Okay? I don't want to make a loss doing this. I'm not a charity. But I definitely don't want to tax anyone and say, okay, you pay because this program really works, so I'll rip you off. No. I want more people to do it. And I need people to be successful. This, once I get, a couple of more 100 people, these prices are going to change because I won't be able to support so many people. I can maximum support about 1,000 people. And then the rest of this group has to do what I do. They have to do what I do, and they'll have to take this up with me. And they'll also probably do the same thing I have. So I need to educate or probably get another 100 people into doing what I do. Okay. So anyway, it's a long thing, but I'm telling you, for whatever reason, if it doesn't work for you, I don't want your money. I want you to succeed. And I will push you all the way till you succeed. I keep reminding people, if somebody's late on the course, I can see how much you've completed. I go and pester them on the phone. Why haven't you completed? Come on, pick it up. So I'm really going to be there for you. And for those of you, I have promised a gift, right? So there's the scorecard. Okay. You'll have to download it. You can't do it, manipulate it online. You have to download and keep it in your system. So if anyone has signed up for this course, it's automatic. Once you pay, your credentials will be sent to you via email. You'll get immediate access into the system. Okay. And if anyone is here has taken it up, I'd like to just come on and say yes. I'd like to congratulate you for joining. And I'll tell you what, if I can have a discussion with you as to what to do next. Okay. So do mention yourself if you are joining. Okay. If for any reason you think it doesn't matter if I'm not here to force you to buy anything, but if this is a program that you want to take, this really works. Okay. Either say an absolute yes or say an absolute no. If you guys are here and not bought anything, that means you're saying an absolute no. Say, no, I don't want this. This is not what I want. Just say no. But I'll tell you, never be this, maybe I'll think about it. You know why? It takes one part of your brain and it's going to keep on rotating in your head, in the back of your subconscious. Just be a man or a woman or have the guts and say, no, I don't want it. I'm done. I'll take the free gift. I got something in the webinar. I'll continue with my life. No problems. Or say yes, because say yes, this is the most important decision you'll ever make of your life. And it's a guaranteed thing that you can do. So I'm urging you to either say yes or no. And if you want to say yes and you say, where do I come up with the funds for this? If you're feeling that it's, I have to do a lot of, reach out to me. Let's see what we can do, because I can tell you that you'll easily be able to cover your cost in this. I'll tell you the benefits that you get, because once you feel that young, nobody's going to give it to you at this price. They'll charge you $1 million, boss. I'm telling you. Okay. So no problem. Sometime later. If you want to do it sometime later, I'll tell you the time is, if you think you want to do it, just get into the course. Somehow you just get into the course. Send me an email. My email ID I'll give you. Okay. Don't let money be your barrier. The only reason, one of the main reasons is, of course, I have to keep the systems going, but the people who pay attention. I've done this program free before. And everyone will do it in the first few days and then they just drop off. It's a very bad feeling when you put something so valuable in front and you give it to them, they don't take it seriously. But I'm sure everything that you've learned, which is valuable, you have paid for. So Can't afford it, it's fine. It's not a story. It's another story. Just send me an email and we'll see how we can take it forward. You should first want to do it. If you don't want to do it, then just move on. But if you want to do it, you should find a way. Somehow you can find a way to get this together. It's not, I'm telling you, even there I'll be able to help you out and do something. But don't drop off, because this is your only, God has given the universe has sent you here for this webinar because it's trying to tell you something. So do something about it. Okay. If you have any questions, and for me, I'll definitely be able to answer them. Okay. So anyway, I don't see any questions here, but if you have my email, please do use. Please download the sheet. I'll follow this up with an email. But for everyone, I hope this was a valuable session of your time. And if you think anyone else might really want to know about this, you can pass them my email. They can get in touch with me. I'll probably set up another webinar sometime. If anybody here wants to even discuss this one-on-one, free. I mean, there's there's no charge here. If you need to discuss a one-on-one call with me on a Zoom call, I can set it up with you. Please send me an email. It's info@premalvarez.com. Just send me an email. I can even, if you have some query or something that you want to personally talk about, because the program is very private for everyone. Nobody sees what's happening with anyone else. It's an extremely private program. And I don't even give out testimonials, because a lot of people tell me I don't reveal myself. Okay. I don't want to know about this. I want people to know who I am. Okay, just hang on a moment. As a call I have to take. So I'd like to wish you guys a very good and very happy evening. Have a happy weekend. Let's all be prepared for Diwali. And I wish you, fantastic weekend and prosperity and luck for all the remaining days of this year. And we'll look forward to 2023. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Padmini. So if anyone is in two minds, do send me an email. We'll see what we can work out. Okay. Don't run away from this opportunity if it's only a question of cost. Okay. We'll figure a way out. Thanks. Okay. So I'll see you guys. And thanks once again, and have a great evening. Okay.